Hello teacups, what's brewing? We are back. It's a bit of a late film for me, so this is probably going to go up at an odd time, but it was a 5.5 hour live, I think. 5 hours, 5.5. And it took a while to edit down, guys. I mean, I'm sure you know, everyone's talking about it. Just so you're aware, obviously there's one main talking point in this live, and that's where I'm cutting most of the information from essentially the bombshell and the fallout. There are a couple of points before that when I was starting to cut down this stream, before things all went off, I thought were going to be important, and then no. So we'll just cover those really quickly first. Chantal mentioned she had a piece of glass in her foot, and I was like, oh, you're ready for the amputation then? Because she was like, it hurts too much to take out, they'll have to freeze it at the doctor's, I'm just going to leave it in there. And I was like, no, please don't do that. Her blood sugars, we don't know how they're currently doing. She doesn't know either. We know she's off the Ozempic. I think she went back on to her old medicine, but that might be one of the ones that she wasn't taking and needs to talk to the doctor about. So potentially currently uncontrolled and easy to miss foot injuries. Untreated foot injuries can cause a lot of problems, injuries in any extremity when it comes to diabetics. So please be a lot more careful. The second point was she mentioned she was down weight. She didn't mention by how much, but she did say, oh, I got lost in Walmart. I probably lost at least 10 pounds in there, which suggested to me she'd lost an unexpected chunk of weight, potentially more than 10 pounds, because the way she was talking about, oh, I must have lost a good chunk of that larger number while doing that because I've been more active. We did flag unexplained weight loss as one of the things to watch out for when she was with Dom, because it potentially signaled other habits that she's been denying, and that seemed unexplained to me. She was trying to explain, she was like sex, moving more different food, but at the last live stream we did see her drinking a Twisty Misty. She had obviously ordered in things, so enough of a difference to make that amount of weight disappear in a very short amount of time sounds a bit sus. However, that's not the main point of this particular live stream. Now, just a quick note, guys, this could be very triggering for some people, I do understand. Just be aware there is discussion of abuse, there is denial of abuse, there is talk about abuse in general. Okay, be aware of it. Also be aware in the comments, content like this tends to encourage people to share certain experiences, and that can be quite difficult for people in the comments because you go into a lot of detail. Please try and avoid doing this in the comments. I respect you've gone through it, I appreciate that you want to share, but not everybody is mentally equipped to read it, and the internet is generally not a safe space, so it's not a great idea to put down such fine detail of the things you might have gone through. So just the thought in terms of if you're leaving a comment, I appreciate it, but it might be best to keep it in broad strokes if you want to talk about things like that. Okay, hope I haven't offended anybody with that, but just keep it in mind down below if you do choose to comment. And let's get into this dumpster fire.
Like all his life details and story because that's private, but good stuff. I don't mind sharing positive stuff because I shared a lot of negative stuff, so I feel like sharing some positive stuff, like Pete's Petter. If you move in with him, I'm done with you.
I don't know if Pete's Petter at this point is also Shannon, because Shannon was the one who dropped a lot of the bombshells here, but this seemed like a lot. We'll go into it for a second. I just wanted to make a point about what she was saying with I need to share good stuff. She's on a PR journey right now. She really genuinely thinks that the reason we dislike Dom in general is because she spoke badly of him. And that may be the narrative that he's putting out to her potentially. She's like, oh no, I just need to sell him better. And you're like, honey, it's not how you're selling it, it's a faulty product, you know? And I think she's really hoping, and one of the reasons she got so angry, I think, she's really hoping to rehabilitate him in the eyes of her audience, and I very much doubt it's gonna happen, especially after this live.
Who's Pete's Petter? I mean, it's still my life decision, you know, so if somebody doesn't want to be in my life, well, what can I do? I don't beg people to be in my life. I don't.
She doesn't, but if you remember when she was talking about her mum, and like, well, if my mum cut me off, I'd just feel betrayed and angry and hurt and like I wasn't supported. And that idea of so it would be her fault if things got worse, still present here.
Well, a lot of you guys don't like him based on stuff I've told you and stuff like that, so.
I can change that, guys. I can tell you better stuff.
You know? All I can do is, like, I don't know, see how it goes, try to share positive stuff. Hopefully things will just be better.
It's not all you can do. You're hoping that things will be better because you've convinced yourself you have feelings for him, but you could take note of all the things that have been pointed out and been like, this seems like a dark path for me and maybe I should choose a different one. That's what you could do. Should you live your life by the opinion of others? No. But is there sometimes value in some of the things you're being told? Yes. And she doesn't want to listen to any of it because she's sick of it, essentially. It doesn't necessarily lead to a good place when you're in that mindset. And she's always like that. She's like, no, I am determined to do this. And she is determined no matter what things might pop up.
Now, you know? No, I mean, I understand people are really cautious and everything. I'm trying to be too. I've set really good boundaries.
What boundaries have you set? Boundaries have you kept to? A bit I cut out of this live when she's talking about laundry. You remember when she just, middle of the night, drove herself nuts, got in the car, went over to his house, dropped his laundry off because she was so convinced that because he hadn't answered a text, he must be with another woman and she was going to catch him. She's brought his laundry home again. Does that sound like she has boundaries to you? It doesn't to me.
Like I said, I feel like I know him a lot more than everyone. And I feel that despite some things, that overall he's a really good person.
And that's not a new thing she's been trying to tell us. I mean, she's had live streams when she's believed otherwise that she's then deleted, but it comes up again and again. Well, I know him better. Yeah, he did this thing, but guys, you just don't understand him. You just don't love him the way I do. He's been through so much. Everything he does is really justified, and he doesn't do it very often, which is overwhelmingly what I'm actually hearing when I hear some of her explanations. We will go into this a bit more when we get more down to the nitty-gritty of what happens.
Yeah, you know what, raspberry soup? No. Oh my god, SJF, what the hell? Oh my god.
During this whole thing, there was a user called SJam sending her some coin. Like, he sent her a $200 super chat at one point, asking how do I get to be a mod. But sent her a lot of money, triggered a lot of people to send her a lot of money. She made bank in this live stream.
He was making jokes. I have a sense of humor about myself. I don't...
Not always.
Doesn't make fun of me. He even said that, he's like, I hope your fans didn't think, did I say I'm mean for what I said to you? It's like, I just want you to know that when I say those things, I'm not... It's like, I get the impression they don't offend you, so I make jokes, like, sometimes. Like, we joke, I make fun of him too. I call him a giraffe and a camel. I called him an Arabian camel.
We're going to go into the names, but I'm also not okay with those names, just an FYI.
I know the risk I'm taking. Yeah, I do. I know a lot of things that I can't tell you guys, so, I know a lot of things, like, I know so much about him, I know.
And again, like, oh, no, I know how it looks, but you just don't understand. I am privy to all the stuff that would completely justify this, is the implication. If you understood him better, she's not choosing to explain it better because, privacy. But no, it just looks bad, you guys. And at which point do you go, well, a lot of stuff is looking really bad and sounding really bad. And at what point does pretending to be an asshole all the time just lead to you being an asshole all the time? And it's an interesting question in regards to a lot of this.
Like I said, I feel like we've known each other forever, so we're very, 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 very comfortable with each other at this point. So, like, all day just being stupid and, like, farting and, like, talking stupid and, like, should I be fucking camel? Like,
we have a really special relationship. So, you know, we're just so comfortable with each other. Now, there is, guys, I am British. We build a lot of our humor and our close relationships on just ripping the piss out of each other. I get those types of exchanges, I really do. And it is and can be a valid part of a relationship and part of the camaraderie of a relationship, which is how I think she's trying to just pass it here and present it here. But then I think back to her saying in the last live stream how insecure she felt in her body because he can do better and she doesn't feel worthy. I remember the jokes about the hump on her back and him slapping it and saying, "What do you feed this?" I remember him saying she's got 4 boobs because of the role she has, and her repeating that again and again and again and saying, "Oh, 10 boobs, 4 boobs, oh, my arm fat," and becoming just a lot more self-aware with it. And somebody, it was either in Twitter or in my comments, apologies, I can't remember which, pointed out the other day, I was like, oh yeah, that, you know, when she starts calling her cats, "You fucking assholes, you motherfuckers," that didn't used to be how she spoke to them. And now it's just become a normalized part of her vernacular. She swears, I swear a lot, people swear a lot, it happens. But she never used to really use that as a sign of love, shall we say. And it's interesting how that has changed as her relationship with Dom has grown. That it's become a lot more normal just to turn around and insult her, and she's here going, "Oh, no, it's just because we're so close." And it can be, but I don't think that's it. Because I don't think she's secure enough in herself for it to be a joke. And I think it's very useful for him to say, "No, I was just kidding, don't be silly." And then she can convince herself even when she's not feeling that good.
Oh no, it's weird.
It's just a thing we do.
I said no, they're okay, but yeah, some people, I knew that some people would think that he's being verbally abusive because of that, and that's not the case.
Yeah, we knew it would look bad, so fortunately, coincidentally, we had exactly this conversation, and don't worry, it's fine.
Anyway, Shannon, I was hoping, like, you know, I confided in you, and I don't really want to, like, bring it up and bring drama. Like, I don't want to talk about, like, what we talked about, and, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I just think, like, talking about it on here is just not good, and I was kind of hoping not to, so I hope you can respect that.
So this was a moment of panic from Foodie because Shannon came in and Shannon knows where the bodies are buried. And apparently she chose violence this morning. So she came in and was being quite mouthy. I've got some of the screenshots of the comments. I'm going to put the first 3 in because I couldn't pull them from chat because she was blocked by the end of this live stream, so it doesn't show up in chat anymore. I did get them from Twitter. I got them from a couple of different sources. I think it was Charlie Gold and On Program. I think that's where I got the screenshots from. I'm not sure entirely. The timestamps are an hour apart because I think whoever took them is in a different time zone from each other, but they were kind of about 5 minutes all in all. But this is kind of what's causing the situation here.
No, but I did tell you, like, not to, you know, what happened briefly and other stuff. You guys, he's not like that because I didn't feel like calling, you know, I didn't feel like talking about it on the phone, right? I haven't called yet, that's all.
So Shannon was saying you didn't call me, she wanted to talk to her, and this is where Foodie kind of starts to lose it and lose her temper a little bit. And I think at this point, if she'd wanted to save this live stream and not have this come out, now if Shannon had serious intention, she maybe couldn't have prevented it. But what I would have done if I felt I was losing track of this and something was about to come out, God forbid I ever be in this situation, I would have just said, "Okay, Shannon, I can see you're upset. I'm really sorry I didn't call you. I perhaps should have, you know, I'm going through quite a rough time, but here, I've been online for a while. Let's just finish up here and I'll call you and we'll have this conversation in person because I feel like it's important and you're important and we should talk." And at that point, she could have cut the live stream off, had a conversation with Shannon that maybe she didn't want to have, but she wouldn't be having online because clearly Shannon's got some goods and she had intentions here. Like, she wasn't letting it go. And I think realizing that in this moment, Foodie could have taken this in a very different situation, but she was panicking a little bit. I think she felt a little bit threatened because she's got information she doesn't want out at this point, and this is what happened instead.
Yeah, well, I didn't treat you that way when you were in an abusive relationship, so...
And that's the thing. That's the point at which this was done. Foodie, for all, Shannon did this to her, yeah? But at this point, Shannon hasn't. Shannon has said, okay, he's abusive in every way, but not given a specific example, not confirmed anything, just, hey, I'm your friend and I hate him. She's raising questions, but she's not currently giving answers. But Foodie, who says for a lot of this that she's above this, Foodie then goes, well, you know, when you were abused, I didn't do this to you. And that is a huge violation of confidence in itself. Now, you can argue, well, Shannon did the same. This isn't a tit for tat situation. And by the way, I'm going to sound like I'm defending Shannon a lot in this because I understand how we got to the point that Shannon got to, but I do think it was kind of a garbage thing for her to do in the chat. I think this should have been something that was private, but I am going to talk about that a little bit, and I'm not defending that she did it, but I understand why she did it, is where I am right now. Yeah, I think it was kind of a garbage thing to do. But here, before she's done that, Foodie is doing it to her. Because I don't think it was released anywhere that Shannon had been in an abusive relationship. I don't believe that had been confirmed before now. So Foodie gives no fucks about telling everybody that. But when it comes to Shannon, who again has this information and seems a little bit angry, now would not be the time I would air that information. Personally, I don't think she should be airing it at all. But did you really expect Shannon to do anything else if you started this with, oh, and you know, when you were being abused, oh, so we're not respecting that boundary at all. Okay, well, no wonder this moved on.
And I'm not saying I am. That's what I'm saying. I just feel like...
I'm saying you are.
True friends
or you
don't,
were.
You know?
True friends don't do the thing that I've just done to you.
That's all I have to say. Like, seriously, I don't know. Like, true friends don't go and cause drama, like, in public and stuff like that. No, I agree. Sorry, that's wrong. I know you flip out easy and, you know, like...
Pot, kettle.
I don't know.
So we've now gone from, okay, you're concerned, but I'd really rather keep this private, which is an absolutely fair thing, to mishandling it slightly, to basically being, hey, you were abused and you're being kind of a shithead here. You know, you're a bad person if you're talking about this. Now, how bad a person she is, I think there are some moments where she really could have been a better person about this, but it's no wonder this escalated.
Yeah, it shouldn't be on here. This conversation basically shouldn't be on here.
And it shouldn't be.
So,
to be completely fair, it shouldn't be. It's not all she's saying, but it shouldn't be on there.
Because now it's going to, like, just cause more drama and perpetuate everything.
Absolutely. And that's one of the more unforgivable things. She does go on and on about how it was a betrayal of confidence, but at the same time, it's making it harder for her to rehabilitate Dom.
No, but you can care in private. I mean, you know.
Again, before now, but now would be a really good time to be like, okay, I can see this is important to you. Let's talk privately. Hang on, guys, I'm going to finish the stream. She doesn't make that choice, and this stream is still up. Holy damn, it's still up.
The drama channels will twist this for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Perhaps, but how much does any channel need to twist this? There's a lot of stuff that goes down this live. Does it need twisting? Or are you just worried they're going to see it really clearly?
You don't really know him fully, though. You know, just what I told you.
Okay, so you told her something that's led her to have quite a visceral reaction.
I don't feel like I'm giving up my friends or family. I don't feel like it should be like a me or them situation. It's not fair to do that to somebody. You know, like, it's my life. I'm responsible for my life. I don't feel like I'm in any danger. I feel like you know, like, it's a situation that, I don't know. Anyway.
It is your life. It is your choice. It is your death if it comes to it. But your life is connected to other lives. It's connected to your internet audience, but it's connected to your friends who apparently you've been venting to. It's connected to your friend who has been a victim of abuse herself, which we now only know because you have shared it, and it's connected to your family who you involved in this and then ignored. So yeah, it's your life, but your actions have consequences. And to say, well, you're making me choose and that's not fair, but they're drawing lines and you don't see that as fair, but actually it is. And it goes back to that conversation we had about unconditional love and how it can get quite damaging. Her idea of what unconditional love and what she's owed as a part of unconditional love, I think is out of whack. I don't think it aligns with reality at all. And she just can't let go of that. Like, you can't judge any of my choices. You can't have any of your own agendas. You can't have any opinion or any impact on my life if I involve you in these problems that really worry you.
Right. I feel like I'm the type of friend that, like, I wouldn't be like, oh my fucking God, like, I wouldn't, like, you know, like, I just let people live their life. And
Okay, but at some point friends care enough to intervene. So are you telling me you've never cared enough to intervene? Because that's how I'm hearing that. And that might not be how she means it, but that's how I'm hearing that. And I don't always call that friendship. Enabling maybe, but not friendship.
I'm there for you, and obviously if I don't approve of your choices, I'm not going to go and, like, I swear to fucking God, and, like, go and freak out and, like, go and message the guy and, like, call him a bunch of names.
So she does explain that. That is what Shannon did, apparently. But she's beginning to air a bit of this dirty laundry herself, and things just escalate from here.
And then he, like, obviously being angry, retorted, obviously. So there's, like, drama going on with that. So I just don't want that. Like, maybe it is good to just take a break from people, like, you know?
So if you don't like it, get out. You see how this might be triggering Shannon a little bit.
I don't know. Really? Wow, what? What are you talking about? It should have been handled offline. I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that
Shannon,
too.
if it's him or me, I've never fucking done that to you when you were with that asshole. So if that's what our friendship is to you, then fine. Like, goodbye to toxic people in my life. That's all I can say.
Okay, so now Shannon, the friend who is, trying to get her to see sense, is the toxic person. Which, oof, really? And again, she's panicking now and she's losing control of her temper now because Shannon has information. I would not be messing around with that when Shannon's holding onto a grenade.
No, I'm serious. Like, I'm honestly, like, calm down. Fuck. Like, seriously.
Calm down, fuck. I'm sure she'll calm right down. That's how I would respond if someone said that to me.
God. I bounced on you. You couldn't call me either? I don't know. Like,
she genuinely couldn't, though, because you don't return your calls.
It's all my fault, right?
She's not dealing with this well at all.
Anyways. Yeah, thanks, Shannon. Thanks for saying that he beats me. I love it. I'll never call you again, because, yeah, you're a liar.
Shannon's not a liar, as we will find out. So this is what she put up. I'll put it up on screen somewhere. But basically, at some point, Foodie has messaged her, I'm guessing because she was a victim of abuse herself, and has told her that Dom has hit her at some point, I'm guessing. Now, there's a lot of conversation about how he doesn't beat me that seems to be grammatical in argument. Like, so simple present, he doesn't beat me. It's not a continuing regular occurrence. But that doesn't exclude it from he has at some point hit me, which, if I had to infer from what she goes on to say, is what I would take from that. And doesn't that put the I hit my face on the car door in an entirely different light? Someone super chats it in a while at some point. I didn't get the screen grab. But when she had no reason to mention a red mark on her face and she was like, oh, I hit it on the car door. And I was like, how the fuck do you do that? Now, apparently people do that. People commented and were like, I do that. But it does rather cast it in a different light now, doesn't it? This is what I'm saying. When I sound like I'm defending Shannon, I don't think it should have gotten to the point where Shannon put this into her chat. I don't think it should have gotten to the point later when she goes into French Fried Girls chat. I think that is beyond the pale. But this was not handled well, and it seems like there's been a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes where Shannon has tried to reach out in different ways, and this seems to be the only one that's had impact. Even if the impact is, that's it, deuces, we're gone. And when she goes, I'll never call you again, honey, Shannon is going scorched earth here. I don't think calling her again was a concern.
So, I love it. He's not beating me. I swear to God.
But at some point...
I have like no real friends. Remove moderator, block, fuck you. Hide user on channel. Seriously, what the fuck?
When you say real friends, what do you consider real friends? I mean, I guess she talks a little bit about how real friends don't do that, and real friends can have an opinion but can't have a response, I guess. And to me, real friends would care enough to try and change the situation, especially when that real friend of 20 years has been in an abusive situation herself. I would imagine, having escaped that, she would be very alarmed that you are in it.
What a fucking bitch. Like, you come on here and say that, like, oh my God. I fucking confided in her in private. Seriously.
And you see how visibly upset, like, Foodie's near tears here, and she does walk off in a minute. And she goes, I confided in her in private. So the problem now is not that the information is incorrect. She says he's not beating me current. That doesn't mean he hasn't in the past, which is what, as I said, seems to be the case. And she's trying to frame this as, no, the problem is that the breach of confidence. Well, no, the problem is he's fucking hit you. That is a problem. That is a massive problem that you're trying to skip over now because you don't like where it's put you on your live. And yet, because she's angry, you know, she's talking about how Shannon's very quick to anger, and it does seem like Shannon has decided, no, we done. But she won't take the live down because she's stubborn. Because she's like, no, this is unacceptable and this was Shannon's fault. When actually Shannon's told a really big truth here. One she perhaps shouldn't have said on the internet, but a really big piece of information that Foodie's been actively lying about.
No, he doesn't hit me, okay?
Now.
That's not what happened.
So something happened. He didn't hit me, but something happened. Something that caused a former abuse victim who would be better equipped to recognize this, to say he was abusing her.
And I definitely didn't want to tell the whole fucking world what happened when I was having a downtime.
And again, that downtime was caused by something, though. I realize it seems like I'm being very unsympathetic. I'm trying not to get too much into the emotion of it because it's upsetting. It's upsetting to see a woman crying online. It's upsetting to think of anybody, even Foodie actively lying to us and saying, no, I love him. It upsets me to think of her in this situation. So I'm trying to just kind of keep a little bit of distance from it so we can talk about it. But being upset like this, it doesn't exclude her from the consequences and from the fact that it is her own actions, as much as I don't want her to be in this situation. When we say she went into it with eyes wide open, when we say she's still determined, she has every opportunity to get out of this. She has every opportunity for support. And her answer is, fuck you, you fucking bitch, for doing this to me. So she's clearly not ready to be out of it. And I don't know what consequences she might face that might make her ready. But I'm hoping whatever it is doesn't end up causing permanent damage in her life.
You know, like, fuck you. That's all I have to say. That's bullshit. I would never do that. Never. I'm not a shitty friend.
But you just did. But before she had said when she had brought up the idea that he's abusive, but she hadn't confirmed anything, the first place she went is, you were in an abusive situation. I'm guessing she didn't give you permission to share that. So this idea that you are better than that, no, you're not really, are you?
And I don't care. Don't fucking send me a 20-page email fucking insulting me like you do everyone.
Because I'm above this, but you insult everybody.
With every insult under the book. Because that's fucking bullshit and I'm not about that. I'm not gonna do that. I don't do that to ex-friends. I'm not like that. I'm not low.
She can get pretty low, but I do think it's pointless them doing that. Like, this was burn every bridge and salt the earth. This had no intentions of being repaired later.
And then talk to my family behind my back, like, fuck that. That's why, honestly, like, seriously.
Right, so Shannon has spoken to her family, which is very interesting. So, and again, when I say I sound like I'm defending Shannon, Shannon has obviously taken routes behind the scenes to try and get through to Foodie in a way that wasn't public. Yeah? And it doesn't seem to have been successful because the family are now concerned, and that was probably why when she said she was avoiding them, because they're being a lot more invasive. That took longer than it should have. They're being a lot more invasive in their questioning and in their calling her, and they're trying to be involved because they're more concerned now because Shannon's called them, because she's scared for Foodie and she's trying to be a good friend. But Foodie doesn't recognize lines and intervention, anything other than full support. She doesn't recognize his friendship.
It's people can be concerned for you, but at the end of the day, to just be dirty like that and betray you and
to reach out to your family because you're scared out of your mind, that's betrayal.
That's like your friend if you were fucking raped or something.
I hate this example. Don't open, if it's not real, don't open that conversation. And if you don't want it online, don't open that conversation. And she stands firm by the idea that no, it was just an example, it didn't happen. Maybe don't pull those kinds of examples out of that hat.
Going online and telling everybody. That's nice. That's real nice. Fuck you.
And again, she is too upset for this not to have some kind of truth somewhere. And now that this truth has come out, however much we're only hearing a part of it, there is obviously enough to it that it's had this impact on her. That what she's very upset about, aside from the betrayal, is there's no chance to now sort of polish up Dom's character and present him as a great person. Because now it's being revealed how deep things went before now. And when we say before now, she's only been back with him and happy for what, a week or so? But she has a very short-term memory. So that was before. There's no guarantee that the change she's currently saying is happening, and she's not reliable anyway, but the change she currently says is happening, despite what we're hearing and seeing on the short time she has gone live with him, are permanent. But she's not willing to listen to that. And so she's got friends and she's got family who are just fucking terrified for her. And Shannon's obviously been like, nah, hardline, we're done.
Go cry to the farms, I'm sure you will.
I don't think that should be your concern right now. Although she is very concerned. Shannon clearly has more information. She talks a few times about, I bet she'll release the DMs. That'll be fun. If Shannon does, there must be something in them for her to be so concerned and for her to mention them so often. And on one hand, I'm like, don't fucking do. Like I said, I don't think this should have gone online. I don't think the DMs should be released online. But on the other hand, just in the sense of we never know what's true with her, and I want to know what's going on, because I want to know how seriously she needs help, and I want to know how deeply she's willing to lie to her audience. So there's a couple of things there in the sense of I want the information, because it would explain a lot and it would help us to kind of understand the lines Foodie has or doesn't have, which as viewers we kind of need to know. And if she's this concerned, I don't think it's going to paint her in a flattering light.
So what do I do now? Do I tell you guys more private shit that I shouldn't be telling you? Because I don't want people to think that situation, I don't want people to think that I'm in this situation that I'm with somebody who's a fucking beater, and when that's not the case, like you don't know the whole story or whatever.
I think we don't know the whole story. I think if the whole story at some point involves him hitting you, I think we've got a fair bit of the story. I don't actually know what would be better at this point. She doesn't owe the internet this story, but if she doesn't owe the internet this story, she shouldn't have been using it on her channel. She shouldn't have been baiting it before now. And now that this information has come out, she might do better just to sit down and be like, guys, this is what happened. Because there's no getting away from this. There's no erasing it from the minds of her audience. But I don't know what good it would do. Would it do good? Would it do bad? She's not great at sitting down and being honest. And this is going to reveal a lot of dishonesty from her. And I don't think she's in a place with her audience where necessarily anything positive would come from it. So on one hand, I do think we need to know at this point. I think enough has been revealed that she would do better to say something. But on the other, would it do any good? I don't know. Like, I'm not sure.
You know what I mean? Oh, I'm so fucking mad. Like, Pete would never do that.
Oh.
What I never do.
What just happened? No, it hasn't. It was next.
What I not do.
I'll tell you about it later.
So, a couple of things about that interaction. One, suddenly remembering Pete is your best friend. She dropped him the moment Shannon came into the scene and was like, oh no, we're going to Montreal with Shannon. She's my best friend. She's been my best friend for 20 years. And it seemed like they hadn't been in contact for a little while. So, like, Pete has been there the whole time, but Pete hasn't been very fun recently because Pete likes to stay in. He's been going through some depressive issues himself. And, you know, he doesn't fit her party girl lifestyle, whereas a girlfriend does. So she dropped him immediately. But also, this, I'll tell you about it later. I'm not sure how much Pete knows about this whole situation. So she told Shannon, but she didn't tell Pete, even though Pete is the least likely to intervene. He hates confrontation of any time. He's dealing with his own mental stuff right now. Like, if she wanted someone who was going to do fuck all, Pete is the man.
You'd never air my dirty laundry online if I told you not to.
Yeah.
Like if I was like raped or abused or something. I'm not saying I would, like, but if that happened.
Okay, so they haven't had that conversation.
Yeah.
Nothing. You didn't rape, you didn't abuse, nothing like that. So don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, you come on here and like start all this. Like, what kind of shit is that? Seriously.
But did she start it or did she just confirm it? Because this was started a while ago. The word abuse was brought up by you when you were lying on your llama, massively depressed, saying, I think something's happened. And the conversation about abuse started months ago when you started turning up with bruises, appearing to be manipulated by someone who didn't seem to have that many feelings for you. So this conversation has been wide open for a while. But is this new information? Is this putting you in a bad position? Yes, because Shannon has been your friend for 20 years. And yet she's taking a stand with this. And really, shouldn't that make you look a little bit deeper into it rather than just get angry? But in this moment, she's reacting and she's angry. And it's kind of natural for her to be because this is, like I said, a grenade that's just exploded. And she's going to have to deal with that.
I really appreciate it. Especially with Pete's out of work right now.
All the super chats are pouring in. They're pouring in. And she's like, oh, with Pete's out of work. And I'm just like, there was so much money coming into the stream, and with the conversation that's going on with it, it didn't feel right.
I'm not bruises from being abused. I'm on blood thinners. And then sex bruises.
Could be true. And like, people do a lot of things during sex, and you can get random bruises, and she is on blood thinners, but again, she's not reliable, and we seem to have someone close to her who has no reason to betray her telling us some information that she herself doesn't want to tell people. So it's going to cause questions.
There's a lot you guys don't know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you're not explaining it.
So for her to just come on here and be like, you know, when I tell you something in confidence, I'm sorry, but like betraying confidence like that is just like, to me,
it's kind of a heinous thing, but did she give you permission to tell everyone she had been abused? Because not that it's an eye for an eye here, neither of you should be doing it, but it's really hard to say I'm above this while doing it.
you beat me at cards.
Too soon. I don't like that joke.
And if a friend is gonna make you choose something over something like that, and not just fucking be there for you when you're going through something, or and be like that in the friendship and just air your shit online, you're not a real friend. I'm sorry to tell you.
It's entirely possible that currently she's not being a real friend. She is done with this friendship. But remember how Foodie was with us when she was depressed in her room, which is when I'm guessing that this conversation happened, or these texts or this information was exchanged, because she was low and she reached out to somebody, and her shit shouldn't be online right now. But then, should any of this shit be online right now is another question. But if you're going to go to somebody in that state, somebody who has lived, according to you, in worse situations than that even, you have to expect that they'll respond, and respond passionately, because this isn't just a theoretical thing that she thinks is terrible. This is something she lived with. And of course it's going to matter to her, because at some point at least she was your friend, and she cared enough to do something. And this is where the unconditional just doesn't fit. She's tried to reach out to you and intervene with Dom and talk to your family in multiple ways you don't appreciate, but ways that I think were probably well meant.
They're not a real friend. I don't know for sure ingredients what I'm going to do tomorrow. Maybe I'll go to Montreal with Dom. How about that?
And that's the attitude that makes it very hard. Makes it very hard to sit here and try and, I don't know, I don't want to say exactly sympathize, but yeah, I guess it's sympathize with the abuse when she's like, oh, well, maybe Montreal, which has been a massive conversation in terms of where she gets drugs when Dom's not at her side, maybe we'll just go get fucked up there together, eh? Let's just rub some salt in that wound. You think now is the time?
She went behind my back and blabbed to my mom. Told her everything that was going on too, without my consent. I don't want to lose my friend, blah, blah, blah. I know you're concerned.
Blah, blah, blah. I don't want to lose my friend. I'm terrified she's going to die. I'm terrified he's going to lose control and kill her with drugs or through other means. It sounds dramatic, but these things happen in these situations. But again, consequences never happen to her. I get that she's upset because she doesn't want to explain this, and she probably feels really exposed right now in a way that should not be on YouTube. But blah, 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 my friend just doesn't want me to die.
You know, like, I also didn't want her to go to fucking Dom. She offended that he called her a whore. That's disgusting. But you should have seen what she fucking said to him. Called him a goof, a fucking, like, everything.
I don't know what everything encompasses. It sounds like there was quite a conversation there, but I feel like there's a very steep difference between calling a man a goof, which is kind of, like, it comes from goofy, right? Which is quite mild, to calling a woman a whore. I feel like there's a big old difference in the level of insult there.
Like, under the book. Like, I didn't want her to do that, you know? If Shannon's concerned I'm in danger, which I'm not, but if she's concerned about that, she needs to handle it privately and not on the fucking internet.
True. I think Foodie is in danger. I don't think she's willing to see those dangers, but she is in danger. And I think this should have been handled offline. But from the sounds of it, Shannon messaged Dom to be like, fuck you, dude, what are you doing? Talked to the family to try and reach out to them to get help, and now we're here. Should it be here? No. But if you think about this from this perspective, although Foodie doesn't prioritize a lot in life, her channel has some of the biggest impact on her. Now, do I think Shannon thought that through? Do I think Shannon was like, well, this is the only way I'll get through to her and this is for the best? No, I think Shannon was just burning bridges. But if there was a way to get her attention, because she's ignoring everything else, she's not answering calls, she's lying online, she's bringing up live streams and saying, no, I'm in love with him. Okay, then, okay, well now you've got her attention, haven't you?
Where she knows that 1,700 people are watching.
Yeah, maybe that was the point.
And now all these rumors are going to fucking start because of her.
They're not rumors if they're true. There's no defamation here. You've confirmed that you spoke to her about something in confidence, something upsetting, apparently, that sounds a lot like at some point you may have been in an abusive situation. And I would definitely believe that that abuse, while currently maybe not physical, could be ongoing and you are at risk, certainly massively at risk. So, okay, remember that conditional love we discussed? She has drawn the line. Should she have drawn it here? Nope. Maybe she should have called you and been like, nah, we're done. But she didn't. She chose to get you and everyone else's attention. But in terms of ongoing impact, This will have a much longer ongoing impact to maybe try and force you to change. I don't think it will work, but what else would have been as effective as bringing this into your channel?
Those are fucking serious accusations.
They are. And remember that she said that when we come to a conversation later.
Even if people call police, and it won't happen, but even if that happened, I'd be like, no.
Fuck all you can do about it, so just shut up and listen and take what I'm saying. I don't care how you feel. Actually, no, there's nothing you can do. Don't waste the police time. If she's not willing to be an active partner in pursuing some kind of case against him, then there's nothing you can do about that.
You can't do anything unless the person, you know what I mean? Like, no, nothing happens. Fuck. You need to grow up, Shannon. You don't fucking think before you go off. You've always been like that.
Pot kettle. She kept this live stream up. She kept this live stream going to spite Shannon so she could keep getting angry and retorting to it because she knew she didn't have anything else. She should have cut this live stream off. If she'd been smart, she could have done it before it came to this, but here we are.
You don't care about who you hurt when you fucking run your mouth, when you're angry.
Birds of a feather.
You know it. That's why I'm sick of everybody. This is how I get treated by people who care and love about me in my life.
Yeah, this asshole thing to do, but she texted you, she tried to contact you, she tried to defend you against Don, perhaps not in the best way, but tried to defend you against Don and tried to reach out to your family to help her support you. What an asshole.
Actually, I did tell Marissa too, and Danielle.
These are people I think she knows online. Marissa, obviously, but I think Danielle is also maybe one of her mods. And that's all she really wants from her mods and from her ride or dies is, again, that idea of unconditional. The idea of, okay, well, you just live your life and be safe. And that's all she wants. She wants to be able to talk, but she can't talk to a number of the people in her real life because this happens and her family's concerned, and she can't be honest with any of them because it looks awful, because it is kind of awful and she doesn't want to admit it. And her relationships online will give her that outlet, but give her no consequences. I know we talk about therapy a lot, but if she wants to be safe and she doesn't want this, she wants the conversation to be protected, talk to a therapist. But a therapist would have some harder questions she doesn't want to answer, and so she doesn't want to do that either. But she clearly wants to talk to somebody.
When I told them that we've been clean off of fucking really crappy shit for a while now, and it's been nothing but good. We're completely different people together.
Let's say that's true. I don't, guys, the idea of she's taking hard drugs, what hard drugs she's taking, ugh. But let's say that's true. At a maximum, that's been true if it is for a week or so. That's, as I said, not a permanent change. It's not a trustworthy, deep-seated change. So of course everybody's still concerned.
Let's see if we can get healthier together, because I really believe in this person in a lot of ways. And they said, you know what, do what you want to do, just be careful, just, you know, like, and I just talk about, like, for Shannon, she can't handle her emotions, she can't handle her anger, and I don't know, I can understand you being upset by what I've told you, but, like, then I'm not going to tell you shit, like, you know, like, that's what, when I go to a friend, I just want, like, an unconditional fucking, non-judgmental. I don't expect you to go and fucking, after I tell you about somebody, go and fucking, tell them I told you, and I gave them shit and everything, and start a war with them, and then come online and fucking flip out. Like, you have the fucking right to do that. You don't have the right to do that.
But Shannon can't control her anger. Neither of them can, to be honest. I'm sure that's one of the things that bonded them.
And it's not cool.
Be cool, Shannon. I'm cool now. Be cool. Accept this as part of being cool.
You know, I guess what I expect is, I share my life. I expect people to listen, have an opinion, but not really judge, I guess.
Having an opinion is part and parcel of, I guess, making a judgment, but she means judgment in a negative way. She's just saying, no feedback. You can think what you want, but never tell me, which she has said before on this channel, but it's a very unrealistic view of what's going to happen in real life, particularly when the things that she's showing seem to be so negative.
She kept going on and on. Yeah, like, I saw her come in and I was like, oh no, like, you know, people are gonna fucking wonder why my best friend, who's supposed to be supporting me, She knows how people fucking judge me online.
And maybe that's why we're here. Maybe because it's the only impactful thing she can do, even if it does seem like a complete wasteland once she's done it.
Even when she was going through something similar with her boyfriend, I was still respectful to him, even though he was a piece of shit. Just for her, you know?
Why? If my friend was with an abusive piece of shit boyfriend, I'd be getting him out of there.
Like, not to cause, I don't know. And you guys, at the end of the day, don't know the guy. You don't know what happened. You weren't there. All it is speculation.
It's not all speculation because we do have what Shannon said, and Shannon was clearly privy to more information, which is one of the reasons you're so upset, because apparently she's got at least the partial truth here, and that's pretty damning if we're completely honest. But you're right, we don't know. So either end the stream or tell us, and she doesn't either. But you are responsible for the information we have. Everything we have read into, you have shown us. So if we don't know what's happening, whether we should know or not, that's a result of you and how you've presented information.
This person, in a lot of ways, is good for me, and...
Oh, no. Not at all.
I'm in love, so it's my choice, you know? Look at the can of worms you opened up. Thank you so much. I'll never forget this.
But she'll never learn from it. Ever. Didn't she I think she mentions another person who ended up betraying her and going on the farms and giving out information, which was also a piece of shit thing to do. But she didn't learn from that situation, and she hasn't learned from this one. There's only so far you can push people, and some people are willing to just walk away, and some people will set off an explosion on the way out.
I think the only person I can trust in my life for real is Pete.
Just remembering that, are we?
Like 100%. I
And
don't
yet
even trust
Pete
my own
wasn't
family
spoken to.
100%. That's sad to say.
Which is awful. I don't trust my family, but trust your family to what? Listen to everything but leave you alone? I wouldn't trust my family to do that either. That's not what family is there for. Family loves you, and that love will push them to action. You just don't want the action. You want all the benefit of being listened to, and none of the reaction it's going to naturally cause. I don't think she for a second considers the emotional load she's putting onto her family when she tells them things like that, because she doesn't consider other people's emotions at all. And were the situation reversed, she would not act in the way that, if I can generalize this, most people would act in, as she's just said. When Shannon was going through it, I just let her live because it was easier. So it doesn't surprise me that she's not connecting these things.
Well, that's fine. They don't have to trust me. I know, nobody, I know, like, literally nobody in my life trusts me.
That's not a normal state of affairs, though. If nobody in your life trusts you, not family, not friends, not anyone, at what point does it stop becoming a them issue and start becoming a you issue? And at what point does that issue start being worthwhile in terms of correcting it?
Oh, no, Joe, it's not happening to me, so, yeah. It doesn't matter. Like I said, Joe, people can care and not air your dirty laundry online, right? And actually, I don't want to see you either here, just come in here and just be negative all the time either. It's starting to really get on my nerves. You're like the only one who's really negative anymore.
She blocks everybody. And I don't think you have enough friends. I don't even think you have enough sycophants. Enough people willing to say, no, sweetheart, you do you, it's your life, to be turning on Joe right now. And you've just told us how you don't go low and you don't turn on your friends in anger. And hi there, Joe, fuck off.
And she especially didn't know the whole story because I didn't call her to talk to her about it yet, you know? Because honestly, I didn't want to. I felt judged by her. Like, I felt like I was being judged.
You probably were. As a survivor of abuse, she turned to you and was like, this is a terrible situation you need to get out of. Stop judging me. Just because I called you incredibly depressed from the llama or the floor, telling you, presumably, that he hit me. Stop judging me. Stop shaming me.
I don't ever come on here looking for sympathy from people.
Yes, you do.
I come on here always just to share. I don't even want, you know what? I don't need a reaction from people. I just want people to listen to me.
Excuse me.
Obviously, I do want a reaction,
Yeah.
actually. But I'm worried. I would at least say I'm worried about you. If you don't tell your mom, I'm going to tell her.
And I think maybe that's something she should have done. I don't think Foodie would have been receptive to that. I think that would have been an argument Shannon absolutely didn't want to have. But when I say no, I don't think this should have gone online, even if I understand that's the impact it could have had. I do think the step before reaching out to the family would have been reaching out to Chantal. And that clearly didn't happen.
But something like, these are my decisions I'm making. If things turn out to be bad, then I'm prepared to take responsibility and learn from it.
I don't think you're prepared to do either of those things, and I don't think when bad things have happened in your past, you've ever done either of those things.
And deal with it. Honestly, I don't blame him for being pissed. Like, not pissed, but like, well, yeah. Like, just really hurt he seemed more hurt than pissed that I would do that when he found out, like, I was hearing all her shit online.
Because she should feel guilty. She should feel guilty for contacting friends and being honest with them. It's her fault. He's just hurt. How could you do that to me? This is the manipulation we're saying is also abusive.
Yeah, because he found out, I told Shannon. You know why? Because Shannon went right away when I told her, I confided in her about, like, some stuff. About our relationship. She fucking went and, like, flipped out on him in, like, a paragraph this big on Messenger, calling him every fucking name in the book and blah, blah, blah.
Well, what you told her must have been pretty damn serious then. Have you considered that? Do I think it's a good thing that she went and confronted him? No, not because I don't think he didn't need confronting, but because if he hits once, he'll be willing to hit again. And I'm assuming she was hit at some point, and that's what triggered all this. That is an assumption on my part. She doesn't technically confirm it, but she certainly hints to it, and it makes logical sense. I think it placed her in a danger, but I assume the aim was to break them up so Foodie would get the fuck out of there. But that clearly didn't happen.
Gonna end up dead. Give me a break. You got it.
Consequences don't happen to her. People end up dead in these situations from drug abuse, from being attacked by their partners. People end up dead, but consequences don't happen to her.
They're acting like I'm this, like, battered, abused, fucking abuse victim. Like, no, I'm not.
She's not sitting here with black eyes. She had a red cheek at one point that she explained away as literally, I guess, walking into a door, if we're gonna go with that old chestnut. But just because you're not beaten and bloody, you are bruised but not beaten and bloody, doesn't mean you're not abused. And the fact that you don't see it is not just alarming, it's terrifying. The fact that you're sitting here defending it is terrifying, but it's also textbook. And that's the reason people are being so vocal, because they can see such a clear path for you.
Yeah, I just feel so fucking shamed for my shamed by, like, people that I thought, like, if that's how you care about someone. This is what, honestly, I just find friends to be really just nothing but trouble, like, lately.
If I were in this hole and I were unable to see how deep I was going, we're gonna assume she's unable, even though she's been pretty determined. Though I wasn't appreciated at the time, if I were to survive that situation, I would be thankful there were people out there willing to haul me up at any cost. I would be. Maybe not immediately, but I would be.
Like, honestly, at least, like, some of the friends I have, they're just, like, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, like, isolating more and more. But it's not because of somebody. It's because of how people are.
Well, it is because of somebody. Because everything people are doing is in response to the situation you're in with him. So it is. And I'm sure he will encourage you to be at his house more, to isolate more, because you're easier to control that way. First thing you do is burn the bridges in your life so you've got nothing but him, and then you have to rely on him, because what else have you got? Which is a place you were already at when you're saying, I'm not worthy of anyone. when you're lying on your llama depressed because you've got nothing else. There's him or there's food. And you've already said you do whatever, you go for this relationship over where you were. So yeah, of course you're gonna isolate.
Oh, I have to put in calling, I have to call Dom at some point.
I bet she does, because he watches these lives. And this has just come out. Yeah, they're gonna have a conversation. Hopefully that conversation isn't gonna end with her coming online with more red marks and bruises. But yeah, he monitors these lives and she left this up out of spite, which is why I'm amazed it hasn't been taken down yet. She was live when I started recording this. She was live. That live life is the stream she's currently doing, where she started it being like no drama today. So I don't know if it's going to have anything into it, but we'll have to see.
Maybe he won't want to be with me after all this.
And that's what she's more scared of. Maybe I won't have it. He's not going to let go of her until she's useless to him. But so long as she's afraid of it, she's a lot more amenable.
Fucking grief. Shannon's in FFG's chat, seriously? You have to be joking.
And this is the point at which I'm like, fucking really. I can justify the path that led her to come into chat and be like, fine, but don't call me again if he beats you. Because making it public may have been the only way she could get through to Foodie, having that just be a break. But to then go around and be in reaction channels chat, I think that's a step too far. Now, as I understand it, French Fried Girl said, do not release the DMs. I understand she got quite upset on the stream and she ended it early. I haven't watched it yet. I don't know what happened. But that is the point at which I'm like, okay, nah, that's some horseshit.
That's fucked up. Who needs enemies when you have real life friends? Honestly, people are like, you pay more attention to your subscribers. Honestly, most of you are fucking more decent people than a lot of people in my real life.
And most of them are a lot more enabling than the people in her real life, which is maybe how we got here.
That's all I'm gonna say. So this is the kind of stressful stuff I'm going through, and you know what? I've done it to myself a lot by opening my big fucking fat mouth.
I mean, you could have just kept this entirely off YouTube and put more effort into having content that was just pre-recorded, and this never needed to be a thread of conversation ever on your YouTube channel. We're a bit beyond that, to be completely honest. I don't think that's necessarily the point now. I think we've come far too far, and maybe let's focus on getting you out of this situation. But yeah, you had the option of just not including it. But when she says, okay, I've got 2 lives and it's stressful, which actually means that she's got a double life because she's been lying about it this whole time, and that's what's stressful.
In the first place, Jocks. Butterscotch Barbie. Shannon had no issue punching Jacques at parties. I don't know, you probably know who they are, I guess. Yeah, exactly. She's super abusive and has punched out many guys. But it's okay for women to do it. That's right. That's right. It's okay for women to do it.
Okay, I realise this is not the most sympathetic stream, especially considering the subject matter. You talk about how rape and abuse are very serious words to throw out there, even though you spent quite a few days baiting the idea of abuse for views. And this is a really serious conversation we're having. You won't tell us the real story, but it looks very serious. And I'm personally taking this very seriously. But then to say, this woman who is a victim of worse abuse than I have been through, or haven't been through, but maybe have, but maybe haven't, is an abuser? Because when she was younger, she got into fights in bars? The hell, man? You turn around and you call her an abuser because you don't like what she's saying, even though it appears to be true? Or she at least has some truth to it because you're getting upset? So then you change the story to say she's an abuser, but you know, she's a woman, so you won't count it. No, we won't count it because that's fucking horseshit. What are you doing right now? What sympathy are you hoping to gain from this? I don't go that low, but I'm going to call her an abuser. Absolutely not, my friend. No.
Yeah, exactly, though. It's a valid fucking point.
It's not a valid point. It's you're doing anything you can to dirty her name because you're pissed, and you're willing to go exactly that low and to pull out abuser and put it onto her, madam.
Sorry. Not sorry.
Of course not sorry.
You deserve to have somebody in your life now, don't you?
And you consider those the same thing? You got into a fight in a bar and you punched a guy in the face. I don't know how much of that story is true, but maybe it is. And so you're an abuser, and you get to have people in your life now, don't you? That A is not the situation that appears to have happened, and B is not the same. She really thinks she's proven a point.
You know, and I'm not condoning abuse or anything. I'm saying that's not even the point. That's not even the issue. I'm not saying, but by saying that, I'm not saying that abuse is not an issue. It is. I'm saying it's not the issue here. It's not the point. Because
it's very much the point, but it's not the point you want to focus on.
it's irrelevant.
It's very relevant to your life and your streams.
Let's have some edibles. Fuck it.
Yeah, because we don't want to deal with the real stuff.
Joe, please just support me right now. Let me eat my edibles.
Careful, Joe. You're on thin ground. All right, I stopped it there. She ate a ton of edibles really quickly, started to feel sick, greened out, went onto a llama, got very slow. The points that come out are basically repeated. I know there's a fair amount of repetition in here. Guys, abuse is horrible, and I don't want her to be in an abusive situation, but until she's willing to A, admit what it is and see it for what it is in a way that she's willing to do something about it, there is nothing we can do. Absolutely nothing. She is determined. And so long as she is in this mindset, she's just going to have to ride the wave and see where it leads her. And let's just hope when she crashes, she doesn't crash too hard, because I don't know what else to do with this. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to edit this down. God knows what she's been saying in the other stream, but I'll check it out if I have time. I hope this wasn't too triggering for anybody. I know it's going to invoke a lot of feelings. Try and stay a little bit calm in the comments. I know it's asking a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.